Okay. Okay, that's fine. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's CapTech Hub expert session for the Techpreneur track. I'm thrilled to have you join us this evening. I'm excited to welcome our guest speaker, Mrs. Imaobong Ofana, the General Manager of FhenixAfrica. She brings with her a wealth of experience. She's a founder, she's a techpreneur, and today's session is designed to give you direct insight into what it takes to build or grow and thrive in the tech ecosystem, especially as an early stage founder. So Mrs. Mabong is a seasoned professional whose work spans across digital innovation and business strategy. Her journey will offer you relevant practical perspectives that we believe will shape how you approach your own path in the tech entrepreneurship. So before we get into what we're here for today, I'd like to begin with her speaking. I'd like for her to introduce herself and share a bit about herself before we move into the Q&A. So, Mrs. Imabong, please feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the team.
Okay, thank you so much, Emedion. Good evening, everyone. Good to have you all on this call. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Ugochukwu, Mustafa, and this Sarah, I think one of you. Okay, Emedion, thank you so much again. My name is Imaobong Ofana. I'm actually the managing director of FhenixAfrica. Of course, that's one of the startups that I have, as well as She in Tech, which that one is basically for ladies. I'm more of into human resource management, and I've been on the field of human resource and customer service for way about 10 years now. And I've worked with different, set of persons. I've worked on different projects. I've helped mentor lots of persons who are just starting up, both in HR, in tech, and all of that. So this evening, I'm too sure that the little I have to share would go a long way to inspire somebody. And also, I'm open to your questions and all of that. So thank you so much for having me, Emediong, and the entire team. I hope we have a good session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. At this point, I'll hand over to you to take it from here. We have some few questions that we documented. Do you want me to share the document, or how do we go about? Should I read out the questions to you, or
Okay.
would you just refer to the documents from your end?
Yeah, okay. So I will use the document from my end because it's already open on my system. However, I would love to start by sharing one or two of my experience in my journey as an entrepreneur, just to prepare our minds and also set us rolling for the evening, if that's fine by you, or are we just you just want us to move
No,
straight
no,
into
no,
Q&A?
that's perfect. That's fine. But if
Okay.
you have any questions, please leave it in the chat for her, so you don't interrupt her. So of course, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I continue, just to make sure that we are in sync and to be sure that there are no robots on the call. Okay, I can see there is an AI on the call. That's fine. So I would just love to hear from us, just, hi, I'm this, and maybe I'm passionate about this. And that's just fine. Your first name. So I'll go with the first person here showing on my phone. That's Ugochukwu. After Ugochukwu, we'll have Mustafa, then Jacob, and Emediong. Yeah. So let's just go that way so I could hear your voice and we can all be on the same page. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good to have you here. My name is Ogochukwu Marian, and I'm very much passionate about tech startup, owning a business. Putting my ideas, building a structure. Right. Currently, I am also studying human resource. And I was actually very excited when you mentioned you also mentor people, and I'm very interested in that. And if that opportunity will be given to me, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Don't worry, of course, you know you have it already. Okay, Mustafa, let's hear from you.
Good evening, ma. Good evening, everyone. So
Good
for
evening,
Yeah,
me,
good
Mustafa.
evening.
I'm passionate about engineering and technology. I'm currently a student in Unilag, mechanical engineering student, and also an entry-level full stack developer.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, Jacob.
I think Jacob is in church. He said where he is, he can't unmute, can't speak.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. So, hi Joshua, welcome. Joshua, you're my son's namesake, like my last son, the third one bears your name. How are you doing? Good evening, welcome. Please, can you tell us just your first name? We already know. Just tell us what you're passionate about. Hi, Joshua. Can you hear me? Okay, so not to take our time. Imedion, I think you can go. And then I don't know who is using Sarah, or is she he or she the person?
No,
Um
I'm trying to record. I can't record from my end, so I'm using
okay,
the
okay,
applications.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. So just tell us what you're passionate about.
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm passionate about I think the verbiage is the issue, right? I think when you look at businesses, right, I think there are people, branding, but in a way, I'm looking at it like, how um businesses appeal to people's feelings towards a business. Like, you can put a business out there, but then you hire somebody like that's like a brand consultant to make sure that your business appeals to the public, like your target market, like your ads, everything that you're putting out is relatable to the people that you're trying to get to purchase, or to the market you're trying to appeal to. Yeah, exactly, that is what I like, because there's so many products out there, so many software as a service that people would get on, but they can't, because there's no relativity. And not just with businesses, like with brands, like for instance, people that play professional sports, like athletes, right? That's also a brand on their own, right? They're also brands on their own, because people approach them for sponsorships, like they want them to be like ambassadors for certain product or whatever it is they are selling. And people can't come to you, or you can't get in those endorsement deals if you're not an artist that people feel you're influential. And not just influential, people feel that they can relate to you, right? So just being able to manage brands, like when it people, products, that sort of thing, is what I'm looking at, like long term in the tech space. So that is, I'm sure that it's not really like, it's not tech, it's just there's some business strategy to it. So that's how I'm trying to like model, or should I say, what's the word for when a potter is trying to turn clay into something meaningful. But
Let's say build.
yeah, but that,
More
yeah,
of
that's what
transforming.
I'm looking for long term. Yes, so that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. And then I'm trying to apply it to also tech. There are a lot of products right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I look for to long
Okay.
term. Yeah, that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So, you know why I asked about our passion, right? What do we love to do? Because I believe we are entrepreneurs. We are looking at solving problems. Because for me, entrepreneurship is more of solving problems, and also, adding value to people's life, adding value to the economy. And while in the process of trying to do this, there are a lot of challenges you're going to meet. Some of those challenges, maybe you were prepared for it, but trust me, there are some that you were never prepared, like you didn't even see it coming. So I'm just going to give you a little background about myself, because if you are not able to, sorry, Emedion, how long is this call? So how
It's
long
an
is this?
hour. It's an
Pardon?
hour long. It's
An
1 hour
hour.
long. But if
Okay.
if there's a need to extend, I mean, I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it 1 hour, but then I feel like sometimes it is really necessary that we have time to like really understand our parts as entrepreneurs and lots of other things, right? So I'm going to try, but let's just stay on the same page. Let's just follow me. Now, understanding your passion is one thing, because if you don't understand what your purpose is or where you fit in best, right, it's already going to be a problem, because it's always best to stay in this space where you're passionate about, so that when those challenges come, when the money you're expecting did not come forth, when it's time for salaries and you check the company's account, you don't even have enough to pay people. There should be something that drives you, right, that is beyond every of your sweet expectations that you were looking out for. Now, I studied accounting, and when I tell people that are close to me, they laugh. Like, some people are like, no, it's not possible. Now, let me tell you why I studied that. In fact, initially, I remember my mind, I said, oh, I want to be a lawyer. Of course, those small children stuff. When you see lawyers, you now see bankers dressed. Now, I want to be a banker. I want to be this. I want to be that. At that point, there was no like clear direction or clarity on what exactly do I want to do in my life, right? So I told my dad I want to do law. He was like, no way, I can't do law. And there was just a whole lot of issues back then. And I just said, okay, let me do accounting. It's not like I loved accounting, right? But I just felt like, okay, what else can I do? Right. And then I studied accounting. I'll pass now because I'll cram the formulas, I'll read. But then I wasn't finding satisfaction in what I was doing. I graduated from school. That was 2015. Yeah, 2015. And then I went for service. I served in Ogun State. And every time I see a job advert for an accountant, I am so scared of applying because I don't like calculations. I don't like working with those numbers. And most time, because of how scared I am, I end up making mistakes, right? I always, always, always make mistakes. So after a while, I got a job with Globacom. That's at VI. I think Amadu Bello, yeah. So I was working with the customer service, and then I noticed that I started loving. I love customer service a lot. I love HR, right? And I love the fact that I could help people solve their problems. So while other persons were complaining, oh, I'm tired of this job, I was literally enjoying my job, but because everybody is complaining, so then I was much younger, and I was like, oh, maybe let's not be that I'm the only one that is not complaining. I'll now join them. When they're like sitting down and just saying, oh, I'm really tired of this job, I'll now join them. I'll be like, even me too. But inside my mind, I know that I was not tired. Like, I was literally happy that I was solving people's problems. Like, in a day, we could talk to like 200 to 250 customers, right? If everything is okay. And I would go back feeling so fulfilled. If there is a customer I couldn't help over the phone, sometimes I would just be thinking about it. Oh, how would this customer, because there was a time a customer recharged. I don't know what happened, but I think as at then there was no restriction on recharge. So the customer mistakenly recharged. I think it was about 10,000 or 20,000, something like that. But it was an amount that you could feel that this person doesn't have money, but there was no way to retrieve it back to his account. And I could see he had called severally. I just started feeling for him. I started thinking of the man, but of course we cannot call them back with our normal lines. So that passion was there, right? Now, I started off as a customer service. Over time, I added HR, and my HR journey started with a tech firm, right? And when I entered the tech space, I noticed that it was a whole lot of different ball game from other fields, because in tech we have different persons, we have developers doing this, and being a HR in a tech space, right, seems very different. Because okay, imagine a scenario where somebody stays up late at night and he or she has been working on, completing a particular project, and maybe ended up sleeping around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And for me, I hardly even sleep early. So sometimes even if you chat them, they'll still reply. And company policy says this person should resume work by 8 a.m. Do you get? And now you are the HR, you're supposed to like make sure that things are happening this way and all of that policy stuff. But over time, we now start saying, okay, people have to resume work by 8 a.m. That was the company days. And you could see that some people will resume work by 8, and because you force them to resume work by 8, they will only work between 8 to 5. And the whole distraction during the daytime, sometimes meetings and all of that, so they may end up not being able to like meet up doing those stuff they were supposed to do, but they would have worked better at night. And we could literally see at the point where we started doing that, people stopped working at night, right? And it was kind of affecting us meeting up deadlines. So as a HR, right, you have to like, call the company and like, oh, see what's happening. Why not we, calm down on things? And then I came up with a suggestion to the management. I say, okay, if somebody works late at night, before the person sleeps, person should send a mail, tell us what and what you were able to complete that night. And we could give you like an hour late, an hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. And we noticed productivity increased, right? So being in that whole HR space, being in the tech space, it's kind of different. So while I started, as HR, I started understanding how different people work, product management. A product manager will be fighting, give me my ideas, you've not done this. Developer will be like, there is a whole lot of stuff, right? So because of that, to me, I felt, kind of fulfilled, being able to like bring in people together, solve people's problems, make changes in the company that could actually increase productivity and, a whole timeline. Now, over time, how did my passion for starting up a tech firm or like a startup? Okay, so there was a little issue in the company I was working for, and we had to start up something, right? Now, starting up this, I noticed, okay, I had a small team, and with this small team, I was like, okay, we could actually do something, right? We could solve people's problems. What's the problem I literally wanted to solve? The problem of a lot of persons who do not have skills, right? But they want to learn, and they now want to use the skills they learn to earn a living. So due to my passion of trying to make sure that people have this skill, people are able to earn, I just want to see that people's lives are getting better, people's lives are being impacted. I mean, having a team where I'm literally paying people's salary, that means somebody is benefiting, somebody's breakfast, lunch, or whatever is also, I'm adding that value. I mean, that was my own passion. That was what, spurred me into having a startup. Most importantly, my ability to like train people, being that I'm in the HR space, and lots of companies will reach out, oh, Ima, do you have somebody that does this? Do you have somebody that does that? And it was just a perfect combo for me, like a perfect combination. So your ability to actually, identify that path that you fit in is the very first part of, starting your entrepreneurship journey. So I want to believe that so far I have a little glimpse of how my whole passion and my journey really started. And so far, lots of people are, when lots of persons give their own feedback. Oh, I started this. Someone will reach out to me. Oh, I did training at your place. I've gotten a job. Those things are what gives me that satisfaction. So in the midst of all the challenges I faced as a startup, which I believe we are going to talk about in the course of answering questions, most importantly, the fact that I was able to achieve solving those problems, that was, in line with my own passion. I mean, that was just a whole lot for me. Okay. So, Emediong, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I believe we heard me, right? Are we still together? Oh, okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, we're
That's
together.
fine. So, does anybody have any question, anything else before we move to the Q&A? Because I feel that's where we will really, talk more. Anything else? Emediong, anything else before we proceed?
Uh, do we have any questions right now?
Apart
Before,
from the one that was already listed.
mm,
Okay, okay, that's fine. So basically, why did I have to bring up all that story? It's just to prepare our minds and, give you a better thought of, or maybe open your mind to what entrepreneurship is about. Your passion, could help you understand where you best fit in so that you'll be able to provide the solution that you really, can provide to people and also the economy generally. Okay. So let me share my screen. I believe I can do that right now. Okay, just a minute.
okay.
Um, okay, Emedion, can you share from your end if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just get to the file first.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay, you're already doing that. That's perfect. Thank you.
So can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so interesting. What inspired you to start your first tech venture? Okay, so what inspired me, like I said, was my ability to solve people's problems, my ability to bring solution, my ability to help people. You know, I feel it's always very hurtful when people, go through some kind of trainings, or maybe they go to school, with the mind that, oh, at the end of the day, I should be able to find a job, I should be able to settle, and it just turns out that it doesn't come up that way. So for some reasons, right, it becomes like a big problem for me, and I started thinking about it. So I know that if they learn the tech skill and they are able to, have something to do, right, they're able to have these tech skills, they can work remotely and all of that, and also people can, earn salaries through, of course, working with us. We can reach out to more people. I mean, that was what inspired me, just solving that problem. Okay, so I don't know who asked that question, but I don't know if there is any other question around that, or you would want me to talk about it more.
I think that's clear enough.
Okay. Okay, so let me move to the next one. Okay, the next one said, what was the hardest part of building your startup in the early days? Okay, we all know what would be the hardest part. I mean, the hardest part was getting funding. So let me now tell us, right? When I started my startup, the only, okay, like the way ours work, it's like a training center. We are now gradually moving online, but I started with on-site. And when I started, all I had was the money for renting. right? That was all I had, money for renting the place. And for me, I really didn't want to start, but there was just this push from a friend that was like, Ima, if this is what you want to do, just push. And I'm like, the money I have right now is to pay for this space for like 2 years, right? Rent. Now, after I pay, what happens next? Okay. She was like, well, you know, just push ahead first, just try, okay. So, I mean, that was the hardest part, having to start without enough funds. I started, and then after a while, people came, training started, and I already had some few persons that I talked to. And the people I started with were just people that finished training. They were like interns too. Okay, so we started with few courses. I think that was just web development, embedded systems, robotics, and data analysis was a friend who was very good and wanted to like offer to help too. So that was what we basically started with. Okay, so that was like the hardest part for me. But now, over time, we were able to grow through the stage. So what I did was I did not give a fixed salary, right? So I was paying them based on the number of students that they have. So when the students pay the money, I'll now remove their own separately, because I do not like to owe salaries, okay, because people can be suffering, doing the job, turning up, and at the end of the month, I'll have to tell them stories. So that was how I was able to do it. So in a way, it kind of helped me, right? Because I already have their salaries ahead of time, irrespective of the other challenge of power. Every day I have to buy fuel. I have to make sure that there is power. I have to make sure that everybody is okay, everybody is comfortable, and all of that. So for me, that was the hardest part. But and then another part, well, was that my team, they were very young. Like, I mean, they were interns now. So most all of them did not have experience working for a company before. So I had to do so much in training them, had to do so much in correcting them. There are just going to be a whole lot of lack of professionalism with some things. So building that team to the standard where they are now took me a whole lot. In fact, at some point, I started getting depressed. I'm like, are you sure I really want to do this? But right now, I feel so fulfilled that irrespective of all those challenges, I was able to like still push through. Okay, so is there any other question around that?
I think it's clear from my end.
Okay, okay. Please, I would love everybody to engage. If you feel it's okay, just a thumbs up is fine. Something to just be sure that people are following and all of that would be very encouraging.
Okay. If you have questions, please, you can just raise your hands and then would let you say, or you could leave it in the chat so I'd read it out if you're shy.
Okay. Any other one? Any other one? Okay, let's proceed. The third question says, if you were to start again from university, what would you do differently? Oh my God. Like, if I was to start again from university, number one, I'm going to reduce a whole lot of my playtime. In fact, I don't know. Okay, now let me tell you guys. I'm from a family that, we are this Christian type, and I was always so boxed up in the house and everything. You can't go out. And when I entered university when I was 17. So I was just so happy that, oh, finally I am here. I had a lot of friends. I used to go out, all those things that look like all those stuff that look like, oh, I needed to like explore, see, go here, go there, so I would have rather used those times. I'm not saying there is no need for a social life, right? But I think mine was just too much, right? And at some point after my year one and then year two first semester, I was like, oh, I think I'm just going out too much and all of that. My friends, I think I'm just diverting. I think year one my CGPA was my I think it was 3.6, and then at some point it dropped to 3.4, 3.5, something like that, so I started feeling so bad, like, oh, okay. Then I now started doing church too much. Like I joined FECA, I joined NIFES, I joined some other, so I was now overly with church. Do you get? I'm not saying church is no good, right? But I'm just saying that I would have literally had limits to some things. Do you get? And know how well to manage my time, and also spend more time maybe reading about leadership if I had a foreknowledge that, okay, at this time this is where I'm going to be. And for you who is a student and you're already in this track, you're already taking a training like this, I mean, it's just a perfect moment that you shouldn't joke with, right? So I would have done more trainings on leadership, more trainings on getting lots of lots of tech skills. I would have done more in acquiring certifications. I mean, I just got my CIPM not too long, but there are professional bodies that I would have belonged to before now, right? I would have networked more. You know, there are things I would have so done more, right? That, in fact, sometimes I speak to my staff in the office. When I see them, they are young and I'm trying to let them learn more things, right? And they are just playing with it. I'll now look at them. The other day they were in the office and I was just looking at them. I was just smiling. They were like, "Man, why are you smiling?" And I told them that now I am married, I have kids, my responsibilities have increased. I still have to manage the home, I still have to do some other jobs and a whole lot of things that I really wish I had the time they have, but now you have that time. Okay, but yes, let's not really say you have all the time, but you basically can manage time because your responsibility is likely not going to be as much as somebody who has children, still has to learn, still has to run businesses. So for me, I would say learn more, like learn and learn more. Cut down on things that are not necessary, right? Cut down on things that that they're not adding so much value as at now, right? So for me, that's what I would say I would do more. Okay, any question concerning that? Thank you, Ugochukwu, for supporting for supporting me. Okay, does anybody have something to add or maybe a question around this particular one I just answered? Okay, so I believe there is none. I'll proceed. How did you identify the problem your startup solves? Okay, so identifying a problem, I'll still tie it back to your passion, what you can offer, and everything. Problems are too much, right? Um, Problems are too much in our country. Problems are too much within, our space. Do you get? So identifying a problem for me, I would say, that's one thing that if you are paid little or nothing, you would still want to do it, right? So identifying a problem of people finishing school and not able to like have a job. I was just lucky that immediately after my NYC, I finished my NYC in October. As at November, I already got a job. Do you get? So from that time till now, I've not had to stay without a job. Like, so when they say somebody doesn't have a job, I really don't know what it feels like. Do you get? But I can relate when my friends call me, "Oh, Ima, how far? Any job for me? Oh, Ima, I need money for this. Oh, Ima, So I can literally relate and I feel their pains. So because of that, I had to come up with, okay, how can I really solve this problem? Now, the way the tech space is, as far as you can have a solution to it, you necessarily do not need to like have all the certification, BSc, masters, but of course, school is very important. I hope we know. So as far as you have the skill, you can give people what they want. They need a UI UX designer. You are very good at it. I mean, they will just take you. Do you get? So that was one of the things that really helped me to, kind of identify the problem and then solve it. Yeah. Any other question around this?
Okay, I think I have a question. So my question is, right, as somebody that identified the problem and went with it and preferred a solution, we currently, the students here, they are in the Techpreneur track and they're learning, right? When they want to do like some solve, before they get to idea validation, right? What do you think that the loopholes right now, especially since in the build phase, which they're going to be moving to after this learn phase, they're going to have to come up with a problem, right? A problem that they can identify in Africa, because we try to center the solutions that they'll be coming up with towards African problems, towards problems that are found like that
Sorry,
they can
hello,
solve in
Emmanuel.
Africa.
Sorry, I lost you for a while. Please, can you take it again? Sorry.
Sure. So my question, like I'm asking on their behalf, so I'm assuming because after now they are moving to the build phase, so we'll be expecting them to come up with problems, like to identify certain problems in the African tech space or just in Africa as a whole, and how they can leverage technology to solve that problem, right? So I'm asking, right, is there any loopholes that you've noticed or you've observed, that any opportunities that they can leverage on, like any problem that you can identify that you would hint them towards, or like hints that you can give them towards these problems that they can, let's say, they can possibly leverage on and build a solution or come up with a solution for? Like, what are the loopholes you think like currently exist, if there's anyone, maybe just one, that you can point out?
Okay, so what you are asking is they are moving to the build phase where they are to come up with a solution, maybe like check a problem. So you want me to share some ideas of what problems currently exist in the tech space? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So I'm going to share as much as I can remember right now. So one of the ways to identify a problem, okay, is it's for me, the easiest way I identify a problem is just taking samples of people around me who are already in the space. So when you think that way, okay, let's leave tech, just come a little backward, we'll go back to tech. If somebody is a farmer, right, what do you think the challenges would be? You will know that, weather could be a problem for them. Identification of the best soil could be a problem to them. Finances could be a problem to them, right? Now, let's go back to tech, because I really want us to relate this to our everyday life. So being that you're already learning something in tech, I feel you may have one or two friends or maybe network that are within the tech space. So what are the challenges they have? For me, I noticed some of the problems they have is, there is a huge gap between people who are just starting up in tech and people who are up there. Do you get? So some people feel like, how do I catch up? How do I catch up? Am I ever going to catch up? So there are some of those issues. Now, some people have issues of fear of, is AI going to take up my job? How do I, get into AI? How can AI solve the problems? Or how can AI help me in my own role? Right. So that's another thing that people are, because if you want to say video editing now, some people are now using AI to like come up with different videos, different things. People are learning prompt engineering now, which I strongly recommend for everybody in my team, whether you're doing anything, I think prompt engineering is just one thing you should look at for, right? So another challenge people within the space face, right, could be finances, and some of the other challenge could be people finding it difficult to identify which area do they best fit in. Okay, so now if you want to go across people and like look at our economy, right? For economy, there are challenges within the health sector. So you can now look at the health sector. I mean, I and a particular team, we are working on a brain tumor detector, right? Now we are working on that project, and some persons are interested in that project. And they came in, they said, oh, if this application could detect a brain tumor, can you help us, let us know what type of brain tumor is it? In fact, that was when I even know there were different types of brain tumor, you know. So some people now have challenges when it comes to in their health. So maybe some patients may not be able to like get to the hospital on time, and some people have thought of something called telehealth, right? So another way you can actually identify problem is check a different niche, like check maybe agriculture, health, fashion, right? And then from these different sectors, you can identify a problem they are facing, and then come up with something within that problem that you can use tech to solve. So another one of the other projects we're working on, some HRs, when they want to do recruitment, the whole recruitment process takes time. Okay, from having to do the selection, it's not only people that are looking for jobs that go through a lot, even the people that are to recruit. I know a friend who lost her job because she could not get a particular talent, right? She could not, I can't remember what the position of the person was, but meanwhile there are people who are crying and looking for that job, just that they did not meet. Do you understand? So we came up with this HR platform where people can go, interns, people that are looking for a job can go there, they will sign up, and now the recruiters could now go there and also post a job opening, put up an assessment, and then the system automatically filter those that pass the assessment, you know. So check out these different areas, and then the challenges they are facing, and what you can use what tech you can, take solution that can solve that problem in those different niche. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Major.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think we should move on, right? Okay, so the next one says, how did you validate your ideas? Do you write codes? And must I write code to be a techpreneur? I do not write code. And the funniest thing is, I am not even interested in writing code. So even if you want to pay me to write the code, I will still not collect the money, because like if you want to pay me to learn how to write code, I'm not interested. Okay. So you do not need to write code to be a techpreneur. Now, there is a company I'm currently working for. While I am the HR, but in a way, the owner of the company, he's really, really not available at the moment. So I have been the one filling in for him, organizing the team, and they're building tech products. Like when I say tech product, they are building lots of tech products, but because of confidentiality, I can't really mention some of those products, right? So because I am being in a leadership position, I have been in the tech space, I am a techpreneur, I know how to better manage this team so that we can achieve what we want to achieve. Do you get? So the simple answer to this is, you do not need to write code before you can be a techpreneur, okay? And then there's this other first part of the question that say, how did you validate your ideas? Okay, for me, I think I've talked a lot about that. The part that I was able to identify a problem and also bring out solution. I mean, it was a whole lot. Now, some people say, now let me relate this back to a product, like an actual tech product. Validating the idea can be such that some people do survey, right? You come up with a questionnaire right? And share it, get people's opinion. Oh, would you love a product like this? And then you ask them some questions. Like, that's what we do in the other company. We send it out, everybody will cooperate, we all share it on platforms and everything. So by the time we get people's thoughts about the product, if majority of persons are interested in the product, then we will now build we'll build MVP, right? Something like so minimal, you know. Somebody can just do XYZ. You don't need to build everything. And with the minimal product that you've come up with the least most important features, right? You put it up, let people start using it, share it among people. Oh, I've just built this product. Can you try use it and see if people love the product before you can go ahead to like push through to a bigger stage, so that you don't build what people will not use. So my one of my friends usually said the gap is there's a gap. So some people just build, you feel like, oh, there's a problem here, and because there's a problem, you think that the solution you have is what people need. At the end of the day, that may not be what people need. Okay, so to validate the idea, feel free to like come up with a questionnaire, feel free to build the MVP, and then just see how people react to that. I don't know if that's okay. Okay, so are we together?
Yeah,
Jacob, Mustafa, Nabil. Yeah?
that's okay. I wanted to say that is actually how it's done, because I've been there, done that. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay, great. So what was your go-to market strategy, and how did you find your first 10 or 100 users? Okay, great. So let me switch a little bit from my own kind of startup, right? And then, because I it seems to me, Median, like most people here have products instead, right?
Yeah, I think a couple of them do.
Okay, so let me switch a bit to product, because for me, I already informed us what we do, majorly training people and sending them to the job market. So all the same, I have also worked on different products, like managed teams to work on product. So what was your go-to market strategy? Right, I think I've talked a bit on this. So for me, we started with people, our in-house persons. Okay, so after we've had this product and I'm like, okay, we are done with this product, what next? And please, before you even go ahead to build a product, I always advise people, try to see how you can have the flow of the steps of this product up to marketing and the end users, right? It's not even wise that it's after you've done the product you're now thinking of a marketing strategy, right? The marketing strategy should have been one of the things you thought of even before you engaged building the product, or you begin building the product. So what I'll say, number one, allow people to use it for free initially. You use money to make money. So allow people to use it for free initially. Then the way some people do it, after a while, some features become premium features. So someone will say, oh, I love this product and I want to enjoy the free the premium version, because they will see more features of the product. So that's another way. Of course, we have the social media, which has become a very good platform for us. And another thing about marketing is, I usually tell my social media people, right, our team, when you want to promote a product, the moment you understand your audience, right, you have to look at, one, their pain point, and two, you have to find a way to think like them. And what do I mean by think like them? Okay, supposing your product is for a student, right? What will a student ideally want to achieve in that product, right? Now, if let me take for instance a student who struggles to focus on reading, you're building a tech product to help them solve that problem. So you're going to think, as a student, if I struggle to focus on reading, and there is an application that is to solve this problem for me. What and what should be on the application, right? For me, top of my head, I would say there should be something to like guide you, something like a to-do list first on that feature, something that helps you list out what and what subject or course you want to read per time. And then there should be something that allows you to like indicate a time. There should be something that allows you have a notification, okay? Maybe notify you via mail, maybe a pop-up on your phone, you know, something around that. There should be something that there is this whole brain stuff that, okay, you are seeing your progress. There should be something like a bar that the more you read, right, and you update your progress, it's going to 100%. So somebody is seeing herself at 10%, and maybe the target was to complete that reading in a week, and let's say on day 5 you're on 10%. So something tells you that, you know, you are way behind, you know, the timeline. So you now just have to think like a student. And what other thing you would do is to see how you can ask questions, ask those your target audience, find a way to like reach out to people. You know, the internet is so sweet now that you don't need to like move around now. You know, you use the internet space, get people's feedback on that, what they would love in a product that can solve this problem. So now when you now want to do your marketing, you speak that language, like I put it like language. I it's not like different language per se, but what I mean is you speak to them in, you know, something that solves their problem. So for instance, when you're doing your marketing, you could use something like ever struggle to stay focused on completing, maybe reading for a course, or you know, you look for something that better relates, okay, to that problem while you're doing your whole marketing and stuff. So when somebody sees a video that, you know, is like bringing a solution to their problem, of course there should be a call to action. You know, it will now grab their attention to it, and they may like eventually sign up to your product. Okay, so these are like the ways you can literally get your first 10, you know, users. Let them use it for free first for a while, and then over time they start to pay for it. Okay, so are we good to go? Oh, I have another meeting. Are we good to go?
Yeah, sure. We're good to go.
Okay, so we now have success beyond just profit or revenue. I'm still going to tie this back, right? Success, let me relate this to me. My success story is when 100% does training in a month and 50-60 are able to land jobs. That's my own success story, and I'm really cool with that, right? For somebody who has a product, you know, the measure of the success beyond the profit and the revenue is that this product is even accepted in the market in the first place. People love the product. It is solving people's problems. I think that's like number one success. And for every product you build, there should be a backend now for you to be able to track usage and all of that. Okay, so that's what I would just say. But please trust me, that profit and that revenue is very important, because you also need to be able to pay people who are going to maintain the product and ensure that the product keeps evolving. And when you build the product, after a while, think of what you can add extra to keep people, you know, interested in the product. Because as you are building, somebody else is building something better, you know. So you always have to think of how you can improve yours. So did you bootstrap or raise funds early on? Well. So I don't even know if to bring this up right now, but let me see. I'm also trying to be careful so I don't scare you. I didn't raise funds early, but what I did was I worked, like I said, when people pay for training, I just, you know, have to keep their percentage for them. But you know, for a product, let me relate this to a product. Sometimes you may raise funds and you can actually pitch your ideas, right? There are different opportunities, and the beautiful thing now is these opportunities are so much. From like last year, I was really exploring lots of different opportunities people can raise funds for startups, especially if your startup is female owned, right? There are lots of opportunities. You could just check up online, you see lots and lots of them. There's the one from MasterCard Foundation now. I don't know if they are closed, but I know it was. So for me, that was basically how I was able to raise funds from people. Now, what I did later was, sorry, please. So the other thing I did was I was able to get a partner, right? I was able to get a partner who joined me, and I gave out some, you know, some percentage of the company. Okay, so that was one of the ways I was able to raise funds. But hey, you need to be careful about that option. You really, really need to be sure of the person. You need to be sure of a whole lot of things before you bring in other persons. In fact, I don't even want to enter that story because we have limited time. Okay, so can I move on? Any question around this? Any question around this? Okay, so I need to hurry a bit. I just got notified of my meeting by 8. Okay, so what advice do you have on pitching to investors as a first-time founder? Oh, great. So the advice I have is when you're pitching to an investor, right? Everybody who invests money, including you, want to be sure that they will be able to get their money back. Right. So before you even invest, before you even start pitching, you should already have one, your product value, the value proposition of your product should be strong enough to captivate people. Two, one of the other things that I found out works perfectly is if numbers, like what I mean by numbers is, oh, we brought up this MVP and everything, and with the little we've had, over 1,000 persons have signed up, something, all those numbers ring into the ears of investors, right? So you should already also show, be able to show the investor that this product you are building solves a problem for a long term. It's not just a short-term product, and these are like the things you intend to do. Now, one of the other things they look at critically is your financial projection, right? Okay, so in year 1 you were able to do this. What's your finances like in year 2? Now, the startup I have, okay, so as at last year, I mean, we're still struggling with raising some funds. Yes, I hope you've not lost me. Okay, but as at this year, before we even got to like April, we're able to make more than the money we made a whole year as at last year, right? So there is no way an investor is going to come in and see such financial record and will not be like, oh, okay, there's a prospect here. Do you get? So you have to be able to do your own work to convince investors to come into your business. And most of these investors, they are very smart, because some of them, your business may not be the first they have invested in. So once they see a viable product, for some reasons, they can just have a way of detecting it. And also, when looking for investors, for me, one of the things I was looking at when I was looking for an investor is, I don't want somebody who only gives me the money and, just abandon me to do all the work. If I have 2 investors, one will give me the money and just abandon me, and the other one will give me the money and still work with me, even if the percentage is smaller, right? Or the money is smaller, let me use that. I will go with the person who will give me the money, a smaller amount compared to the other one, but will still work with me in coming up with ideas and everything. Because as a techpreneur, trust me, sometimes it's not easy to have to be the one to make all the decisions. You just need that supportive partner who shares your dream, who understands the vision, is driving in the same direction as you. It will save you a whole lot of stress. Then another thing is, when you're looking at an investor, See if you can get someone who is already in that field. See if you can get someone who is also in that field. So maybe you have an investor who is in the agri sector, and you have another investor you want to pitch to who is in the tech space. For me, I'll rather say look at someone who is already in your space. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense. Can we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. How did you build your founding team? Oh, interesting. I think I've talked about this. Like I said, they were just interns who finished training somewhere, and I told them, okay, let's start up something. It wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy for me, I must say, because I had to start teaching them professionalism. I have to start teaching them customer service. There were lots of lapses, right? But the only interesting thing about them was that they were passionate about us achieving our goal. And that was all I needed. They were always there, whether it's raining, there is sun, and all of that. They were always there, you know. So that was all I needed. And funny enough, all of them that started with me, they are still here. That's interesting. You know, they are still here with me, right? And we are still working. Okay, so another thing, let me talk a bit about this founding team. I'm going to, I have limited time, so I won't be able to expand shit. But what I would say is, when you are getting team members, try to ensure that one, they understand the vision, they are okay with the whole thing, and they are ready to build on a long term, right? So all of this, and then value your team members as much as you can. Show them that you value them. I think that is one of the things that has helped me. That my staff, they feel so connected. They feel, so they just want to be there. They just want to build. They believe in the vision, and they know I value them a lot. I value people a lot. So I think that's one of the things you need to have at the back of your mind. While doing that, please also ensure you set boundaries, you set the culture, the team culture, because you may start first as a team before you go into a company and all of that. So for me, an underlying culture is integrity and respect. Everybody knows, as far as you are in that place, you already know that you see integrity and respect. We do not gamble with it. Okay, so try to build a good culture for your team from day one, and do not allow anybody to just come in and mess things up for you. Okay, so how do you stay ahead of trends and tech shifts? I am in lots of tech groups, so I am in lots of founders group. I am in lots of everything that I can think of. So I stay updated with the trends, and I do research. My team members, they do research. They share links. Oh, ma, have you seen what's happening? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And we use what is trending and come up with our own ideas and see how we can, leverage on opportunities and what is ongoing. So I don't know if there is something the person expected in this number 12 that I've not captured. Is that clear? Like, are we clear for number 12?
I believe
Clear
so.
from my end.
Okay. So what's one thing you wish every undergraduate would understand about tech startup? Okay, well, I'm going to say more than one thing they need to understand. Number one thing for me is understand that having a startup is not easy, especially when you have to mix it up with school. So most importantly, try to get the right team members. It will help you a lot. Try to get the right team members. Try to cut down on your expenses. Try to, build something that is minimal first, right? And see people's reaction to it and everything before you keep adding more features and everything. And most importantly is sometimes you may make mistakes. It's okay to correct yourself and move on. Sometimes people even take a break, and call themselves back to that, oh, where am I at this point? What can I do differently? I think we wouldn't have taken this route. It's totally okay. It's perfect. some mistakes I made before, I can't do them now. You need a mentor. You need somebody to like guide. You need somebody who has fallen and will now show you that you see this side is muddy. You see this side, there is a hole here. Don't enter. You know, you need mentors, good mentors. Okay, you need to connect. You need to network. You need to be able to do research. You know, these are like the things you need to look out for, and try to avoid loan, try to avoid debt. And before you make a decision of giving your a stake of your company to somebody, please think twice. Don't be in a hurry to make that decision. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if we have any other question. Feel free to ask, though I'm 14 minutes late to another meeting.
Okay, Imaobong, if you have 1 minute to spare, I just want to ask a question real quick. That's if no one has a question just yet. I'd love to ask something. Could you tell me what personal habits or routines that your personal routines or habits that have contributed the most to your success? What do you think is a personal habit or routine that has contributed the most to your success?
Okay, that's a very good question. So, I think one of the major backbone that I have for my own success, which is like a little secret between me and myself, has always been God. There is nowhere else I'm going to put it. There is no, I don't know, but for me, it has always been God, because I totally rely on Him for like everything. You get now, beyond the God factor. The other routine I have is that I try as much as I can to be consistent with stuff. Like, when I say I'm going to do this, no matter how difficult and inconveniencing it is, and if I have to make changes, I make sure that I carry everybody in my team along. So being consistent, showing up as, being a very great part of our success. And one other thing is consistency of showing my team that they are valued, their ideas, their suggestions, everything matters. You get? So for me, I would say like this is it. And another thing I do a lot is one of my routine. I write things down a lot. I use my notepad a lot, because you have to keep track of what you're supposed to do and all of that. If not, things will be missing out. I use Google Sheets a lot to track progress. Like, I love to make sure that where were we yesterday? Where are we now? Okay, what's remaining? What can we do? We are late. How can we fast track this? You do this. And I think another thing, right, that helps me a lot is that before, I used to struggle with delegating responsibilities. I want to do everything by myself. Only me will do this one. Only me will run to this side. It doesn't work. As much as you can, try to delegate. So I delegate a lot now, and I just supervise. And that has helped us to skyrocket faster than before. Okay. So this is just like an overview of it, Imaobong.
All right, thank you so much. I'd have loved to take 2 to 3 questions from the students, but I think that you've done so much already. And so you can get to your other meeting. I don't want to take so much of your evening already. We've taken so much. So thank you so much for generously sharing your time, for sharing your experiences with us. Your words have really challenged us, really inspired us. And to our
Yeah.
students, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. Okay. So, Imaobong, can I just, before I go, can I just maybe hear from one or two persons? Have they learned anything from the session? Because I want to be sure that my 1 hour and our 1 hour wasn't wasted. Did anybody learn something? Have something new strikes, or has it opened our mind to
Yes, I would
something?
like to. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
Okay, please
Yeah,
go on.
honestly, I would say, I would say this is actually so impacting for me. Like, so much to relate directly with you. Very passionate about human resource, and then I mean, everything you have mentioned actually got to me, and I'm so very grateful that I'm part of this meeting. Hearing from you directly, and I'm also open for mentorship, right?
Okay.
has been
Thank
really
you so
impactful.
much. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, so Emedion could connect us later, I believe. Okay, any other person before I run? Fine, Mandy. Please join the meeting. Come. Okay, any other person before? Marvelous, Joshua. Who was in church? Was it Joshua Jacob? Jacob.
Jacob.
Navio. Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name correctly. Nabil. I hope so. Any other things from you?
You guys can leave it in the chat. You can type it. We'll read it out. Please say something. She has given us 1 hour, like 1 good hour. So let's appreciate her. Please drop your thoughts in the chat. If you're also trying to gather them, you can leave them in the chat and then we'll read it out. Okay.
Okay. So, Emedio, maybe you get that later because
Yeah,
I
I'll
need
get
to run.
feedback for you,
Thank you.
sir.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much. Let's enjoy the rest of our day. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Bye for now.
joining us. Bye.
Welcome. Bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, guys, I'll leave a feedback form in the group. Please just fill it out so we can share it with her. Just to be appreciative, say 1 or 2 things that you learned, and then we'll bye, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.